Oh, lest the world should task you to recite what merit lived in me, that you should love after my death, dear love, forget me quite, for you in me can nothing worthy prove, unless you would devise some virtuous lie to do more for me than mine own desert, and heap more praise upon deceased I than niggard truth would willingly impart. Ah, lest your true love may seem false in this, that you for love speak well of me untrue. My name be buried where my body is, and live no more to shame nor me nor you. For I am shamed by that which I bring forth, and so should you, to love things nothing worth. Sonnet 72. It's interesting. Most sonnets are self-deprecating. That's kind of a device, this like to add context to how beautiful something is, to frame it as something that I, a mere human, am unworthy of this otherworldly beauty or this otherworldly whatever. Um, and that works in certain cases. I mean, it works in some earlier sonnets. I also think it works better when you're talking about something that's more objective than like a relationship with another human. And that's kind of the crux of this whole fair youth thing, that Shakespeare doesn't, I mean, we'll see through some of the other sonnets, but like he has some issues with actually having a real relationship with this person who, I mean, again, we don't know too many details about the history behind this, but conceivably he did write these about someone. There are theories as to who it is, that it was a real person, and, you know, it makes me wonder, did he actually have a relationship with this person, or is this just someone he admired from afar? And if you have a relationship with a person, it's not good to tear yourself down in your interactions with them, because it ultimately ends up being this kind of disrespect for this other person who is capable of thought. Like they are their own person and are entitled to love or not where they wish. So if you don't feel good about yourself, and again, it's very exaggerated in the sonnet, but it's also mirrored by that's a thing that people deal with. People, you know, self-esteem is tough to, it's tough to feel good about yourself, but that's the best way to be a good partner, is to, you know, focus on being a person and doing things that you can be proud of. But when you do those things, be honest enough to recognize that, hey, you know, I'm doing well. Can I be doing better? Maybe, but like, I mean, it's and obviously it's kind of, it's linked. If you are a shitty, terrible human, you should feel bad about it. You should want to be better. But it's such it's a trap that so many people fall into. It's a natural thing to be like, well, I'm, you know, I'm not worthy of this person's love. I'm not worthy of whatever. And so it's interesting, the way this one is framed. That like, and, you know, linked to that, right? Like if you do accept that, okay, this is a relationship between Shakespeare and the fair youth, there is actual love there. There's an actual relationship there. They do care for each other. If that's the case, I don't think it's really right to wish your significant other or your this person that you have a relationship with to say, well, when I die, just forget about me. Just try to forget about it. Just forget it ever happened. And whether you frame it as forget you made that mistake and, you know, associated yourself with me, which is just bad, unless you are a piece of shit. But like, again, like most of the time that you feel that, it's misplaced self-deprecation, you know? So don't do that to your partner. Don't be like, just forget it. Just forget that you made this big mistake, that you even associated yourself with me. But, you know, like that, okay, that is bad. But then say that the self-confidence piece is not a factor. The idea that like, well, when I die, I want you to move on. I want you to forget about me. I want you to be happy and forget about me, because the memories of me may be a source of pain. But that's kind of the point. if it doesn't hurt, then was it anything of consequence? So you shouldn't be trying to navigate life avoiding pain the whole time, because you're never going to grow. So telling your partner to forget what you had just because it might hurt to think about sometimes is missing the point, right? You want there to be growth from that. That, think of me, and don't forget those wonderful times we had, but don't dwell on them either, and go live your life. And whether that's finding new love after me, or just finding purpose in the world, because it's, you shouldn't just be defined by one thing. So yeah, interesting. Interesting little sonnet, kind of similar to Sonnet 71, this kind of self-deprecating, like, don't even associate yourself with me, which just wears on me. Shakespeare, shut up, dude. Okay, yeah, so that was Sonnet 72. We're chugging along with these. We're coming up on the halfway point. I think that'll be 78 is exactly halfway. I think there are 156 sonnets. I just did King John last week, I think. So should be coming up on the next Henry cycle. Richard II was written around the same time, if not earlier than King John, but the Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, Henry V are kind of a nice little unit that cover some a connected historical period. I don't know those histories as well as I know the War of the Roses histories, but they are well known. That's the Prince Hal, Falstaff cycle, I guess. But so I think I'm going to be trying to do that block of 4 plays sometime this year. Looking at those, I haven't seen the Kenneth Branagh Henry V, but I know it exists, and so I might watch that. I'm not as high on Branagh as a lot of people are. I did enjoy the Hamlet movie, but I wasn't blown away. But I feel like I don't know where it happened along the way, but whatever my first impression was of Kenneth Branagh kind of soured, and so I'm just kind of it takes more to win me over than it should. I'm not very objective about him for whatever reason. But I've heard Henry V is good, so I'm going to try to find that. I think it was on Netflix at some point, so I'll go look and see if that's still streamable, and I'll watch that. But I think coming up as well are things like Merchant of Venice, and we're about the 1/3 mark for 2019, so should be able to fit a couple more plays in that Henry cycle, and I think probably certainly get past the halfway for sonnets, but maybe past 100. That'd be cool. So yeah, this is Sonnet 72. Thank you for watching. Have a great Sunday.